Right. Welcome to the FP&Ai Podcast, where finance meets the future. I'm Roger Knocker, your host today. And I recently recorded a conversation with Andrew Brown, who's a leadership coach. And I've known Andrew and trusted him for about 20 years. So Andrew isn't just a consultant who's out there. Andrew was a supplier and I was a client. And then I was the client and he was a supplier. Then we were colleagues. And we've been friends for over 20 years and worked on various church projects in that time. So Andrew comes with a BCom and an MBA. He's worked at a big consulting firm, Accenture, worked in an international manufacturing company and in tech companies in the medical field. And he's very sharp and unfiltered, and he brings a business savvy to the conversation. He's not just a coach and a motivational person, but he actually brings strategy and he can challenge you. And in fact, I use him for my own business to just facilitate strategy workshops. So I've titled this conversation, Finance, AI, and a Growth Mindset of the Future. And in the second part that we dive into, we look at general work styles and how younger people or younger finance professionals operate differently to us older generation people. And we also spoke about how AI will shape the finance world and what skills will matter most, and then why growth mindset is essential to adapt and to thrive. So if you haven't heard episode 1, no problem. Just stay with this episode. And if you enjoyed it, then you can go back. The content isn't cumulative, so you haven't missed out on something that, won't make sense in this episode. So yeah, please enjoy, and I'll join you afterwards.
But now, do you think there might be a change that has happened? We've got different generations. We were talking about that on the drive here. Not understanding these millennials who are quite happy with these asynchronous conversations using WhatsApp in order to communicate.
And the penny dropped for me. We must actually just tell that story. What happened? Just let's recap.
Okay, so the story was along the lines of I'm working with a team of young people who are creatives, and they're helping me develop the brand. And they're very happy to have conversations with me on WhatsApp about, here's the logo, what do you think? And I'm looking at this picture completely out of context. And then I've got to put this into an email signature or on my PowerPoint slides or on my invoices, etc., etc. And to me, if we just sat down together and had a quick meeting, and I could just test it and put it in, and they could then say, no, it doesn't quite fit, or it doesn't look like it, or maybe change this, and they could just do it quickly on the fly. We'd have the thing solved in like minutes. Whereas their way of work is very much
Asynchronous.
We'll email it to you, or we'll.
So I can send it. I'll send it 10 o'clock tonight. You can pick it up tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
And then you can give some input, and it's okay to leave this thing about leaving a voice message. No, really.
I don't mind.
Why have I got to spend 3 minutes listening to you waffle on? Why couldn't you just send me the one-liner of "this is what you want" type?
Yeah.
That's an aside, okay.
But the penny dropped for me that's how young people like to work, and we the opposite. We want the young people to come into a workshop, and we all quickly collaborate, and they roll their eyes at, why must I go to another meeting and listen to you, and be challenged maybe on the fly, because we can say, hey Bob, what have you done there, and where's this thing, and they can hide. If asynchronous, you can kind of hide behind and give it a little bit more time to answer, and I can understand why they wouldn't want to be challenged in live mode, right?
Exactly. So my question now is, we're talking about the people that we've worked with in the past. Maybe that was quite old school. Maybe the guys that are now exiting, these young millennials, men and women exiting the accounting firms now, are very much on the front foot, future focused, innovative, a lot more creative, have learned these accounting skills, but because they are so more technically enabled, maybe the whole view of what their role is in an organization is very, very different. Maybe they're not just a fancy bookkeeper, but rather, actually, we're here to enable your business and make it work for you. I don't know. I mean, I think this is a very interesting concept, because some of the younger people that I've coached who work in finance are very much of that kind of mindset. and it's exactly the type of people that you want to be working with.
Yeah.
And they, 35 years old, and they've got lots of energy, and they've got lots of really cool ideas, and they're not scared to make technology work for them.
What do you think, what are they saying about AI? Surely they're going to be the people that have to instruct AI and check AI and get it to work for them.
Okay, it's an interesting question. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I hear my own kids talking AI and they want to get into businesses that it's all AI. That word comes up and, I think they're aware of it. I don't think a lot of people know how it's all going to pan out.
Exactly.
And what an accountant or finance person is going to be doing. I mean, I train people, finance people, other people how to analyze data. I've got come up with my own 10 tips and etc. And then I'll come across an AI tool that promises to do this, and then I test it out, and it's just nowhere. It's not doing what I think it should, like what a human can do. But I would think that in the future you would need to understand what's going on, the methodology behind what's going on, and what to ask the AI. I think that's going to be the trick, is what to instruct the AI to do. And that's a skill I think you've got to build. Because somebody's going to have to coach and check and ask the right questions. If you're asking it bad questions, you're obviously going to get bad results, right?
Do you think that the AI will be able to do the historic reporting bit and do it really effectively?
Yes. I don't know how long it's going to take, but absolutely. From what I can see, there's no reason why it can't.
Because if that is the case, and it's automating stuff that has happened and just putting it all in the right places and then coming up with the reporting on a monthly basis, then what then does the finance function get involved in? Because if that historically is what they spent 80-90% of their time doing, and that can be automated largely, then going forward, they have to become future focused. It has to be part of the innovation in the organization and enabling the organization to grow and do different stuff and exciting stuff.
Well, there's one stat, I don't know if it's 100 years ago or 200 years ago, but in America, 30% of the population were involved in agriculture, farming. Today, it's probably 1%. So although 29% of the population lost their jobs, but they're not starving today. I mean, their kids and their grandkids, they're all either industrialized and they moved into factories where they manufactured stuff, processed foods, which aren't good for us as a health professional, you would know that. Or they've moved into the digital age. And so I suppose that the same thing's going to happen. The accountants are, 30% of the accountants are getting that historical stuff to work every month, maybe more, 80%. Percentage of time, at least 60 to 70% of our time goes in there. But something will happen and that will get automated and we will do more value-adding tasks.
Yeah, I mean, coaching as well. There are now coaching bots that have been studied, and they show that certainly on goal-based performance level achievement using simple coaching models have proved to be as effective as working with a
Don't
human
tell
coach.
anyone. You're going to.
Yeah, I'm doing myself out of a job.
Up.
But there's a lot of research and development going into that space. So I think this is affecting all sorts of industries. And you would have thought something like coaching is very much about, the human connection. Well, there's certain applications of coaching where actually a bot will be able to do it as well and more consistently and at 1 a.m. Those sorts of constraints that you would have with a human. Of course, there are, the next level of coaching and leadership development and learning and transformational coaching. AI has some way to go there. But in terms of just basic performance coaching, yeah.
It's funny, when you started saying that, I I met up with the CFO the other day of a mid-sized company, and we're talking about AI, and he says, yeah, I've dabbled a little bit in it, I've done a couple, but not much, it's not, and there's other people that are on that thing all day, every day, producing documents in an hour that would normally take 12 hours, 2 days to pull together. So, I mean, the message is that if you're in finance, you're a finance professional, let's hope you're not just dabbling in ChatGPT or Copilot every now and again. You're starting to use it to, do root cause analysis, to give you, steps to fix things, action plans. You creating content with it, policies. There's so much you can be doing, and there's probably a whole episode that could go into. And in fact, we will do that on the show. We'll look at what could a finance professional be doing today that's meaningful,
So getting back to that whole, the millennial discussions and the accountants, and that I'm currently studying. I'm doing that master's, and I'm doing research. And part of that actually is touching on the impact of AI on coaching. It's an interesting paper I was reading the other day. So it's the Deloitte Global Survey of Millennials and Gen X. And in there, they're saying they're talking about the adoption of AI in day-to-day work practice. And over 22% of them are saying they're using AI at work and in their work practice every single day, which is quite profound. That's not just dabbling. That is...
Is this that generation? Or
yeah,
is that everyone?
generation. So that's that's anyone born from, I think, 1986 to 2000. Which means then, they're into
up to 40.
Up to 40, yeah. That generation is very much engaged and using this thing effectively and are adopting it. And this was done in 2024, this survey. So it's new.
And I wonder what the above 40s are, what that percentage would be.
I would suspect it drops off dramatically.
Yeah, and you probably find it's 3 or 4%. And that example that I gave is typical. Well, not typical, but I was surprised that a CFO is not really mastering this thing. For many applications, there's so many use cases. If you just apply your mind, you can think of all sorts of things.
Yeah.
I was on, I don't know if this is good or bad, but I had to drive to Soweto last weekend. And one of my business development people, he had been to a customer and they asked for a learnings outcome for the course that we run.
Yeah.
And he was an HR person, so I needed to give him the learning outcomes. I got on my phone and I was talking to the AI. By the time I got back from Soweto, I had 16 learning outcomes, and you should see the level of this thing. And I just gave it the broad outline. So these are the things I want to cover. I want you to, now I'm in the car, so I can't look down at my phone.
So you're having a conversation.
I'm talking to this
this bot. Yeah.
I'm saying you're gonna draft something, learning outcome for lesson number 1, which was variance analysis.
Yeah.
You're gonna draft something. You're gonna prompt me because I've got to listen now in my car, and then I will give you feedback, and then you will give me another revision. And for most of the lessons, we did about 2 or 3 revisions, and it nailed it. Said, I like that, but just add this, and not so much on, that, add rag, or, I was doing stuff like that. I got, and now, so this is on Saturday. I get back, I've got this document, give it to my graphic, to the person who helps me with PowerPoint, and she puts it into a beautiful document. The salesperson asked me on Friday, I come to him, early in the week and say, where did that come from, Unbelievable, that...
speed to delivery.
The speed is, and the precision, and things I didn't think of putting in as learning outcomes, it was there. That would have taken me, to write it at that level, probably, I would think 12 to 16 hours. And I did it while I was doing some other thing, personal thing. And I got it done within an hour.
So the way I think of these tools, it's Roger Plus. It's making you just that much more effective. or squared. Yeah, maybe we should do that. Yeah. It's that ability to. I think you would have got to the end result yourself, but it would have taken you 16 hours. So it's not like you've just. You haven't sort of abdicated your mental faculties and your brain and just given it over to something else and said, oh, just do this thinking for me. You're still thinking.
You're so totally engaged. You're 100% engaged.
But you're creating something new, but really, really quickly. And you can argue, well, but isn't that what technology has done for mankind? When the printing press came up, getting Bibles out to everyone, it was impossible before that because it was all written manuscripts. Suddenly you could print the stuff and get it out there. So that's exactly, it's just another mechanism of making us more efficient and more effective.
And what I want to do on this show is we need to hear more use cases.
Yeah.
Imagine there's probably thousands of use cases that we haven't thought of, I haven't thought about. But as finance professionals, there's so much we can tap into here that, but you got to be trying. You at least speaking to the bot every day or type into it and learning how it reacts. And the one thing it does badly is it always, if you ask it what, you give it an idea, you say, I'm recording a podcast with Andrew Brown, what do you think? And it will always give me the positive. Oh, Andrew Brown, he's a great guy. Podcast, fabulous, epic.
It is very upbeat.
It's like
co-pilot, so it's very upbeat.
Well, yeah, they all, all of them, oh, fantastic, Roger, you're doing a great, they don't give you, you have to say things like, please, raise some objections why this isn't a good idea, and then it will start giving you some of that honest feedback in the belly.
Yes, yeah.
But anyway.
But I think we've talked about.
We're all over the place.
Yeah, we're a bit all over the place. But let's get back to that Bosbarat. We've got the finance people, some of whom are, I guess, we're talking about mindset. If you've got a growth mindset and you present it with AI, or you're just naturally curious. I mean, isn't that just the beauty of having something like, if you're naturally curious and you've got ChatGPT, it's like, wow, it's just an awesome combination. And I think there's this thing of getting people, how do we change mindsets? How do we bring people who are kind of a bit nervous about maybe the technology or what it's going to mean, or feel like they're falling behind? And maybe it is the older generation,
It always is going to be.
It is always going to be.
I mean, when computers came in, my parents and their generation, many of them just internet banking, and even ATMs was rough at first for my gran.
Yes.
And then the whole computer thing and emails, and it was hard. My mom never got on it. My dad loved that kind of stuff. He kept up to date. So right up till he was 80, he was like learning. Even until he died in his 80s, he was trying to improve his emails and internet stuff, buying modems and stuff.
So he embraced it.
Yeah. But I don't remember his peers embracing it as much. A lot of them just threw their hands up. I remember when we worked in corporate, a lot of the directors, we were about 40, I imagine, 35, 40. And a lot of them, we brought computers, it was the beginning, late 90s. And I remember them just throwing their hands up, get this thing out of my office. And
now the secretary would print the emails, bring them in. They would write. She'd take it back and then do the reply.
The one guy, I'm not going to say his name, but he was just chuffed that it all happened so quickly, and she could then take it and scan it, and
it was so efficient.
It was fantastic. But put him on the system, and he used to throw his hands up. I was responsible for one of the systems, Hyperion, that we were trying to implement, try to get him on, and there were peers that totally embraced it. We implemented Hyperion. This is a funny story, and they had an add-on that web-enabled Hyperion on top of the Hyperion database, and it was called Spider-Man. So, I'm phoning up, and I'm now the champion of this Hyperion project, and I'm phoning the executives and their secretaries. Oh, yes, Roger, I've got to come in. put Spider-Man on your machine. But it was like,
sounds like a virus, actually.
what are you talking about? But the CEO saw what and he had never seen information like this. He could now pull 20 or 30 divisions. We had 120 sites. He could click a button and see every line in the chart of accounts. He could see it, and he spent hours and hours on Spider-Man.
But he had a financial background, didn't he?
No, he's an engineer.
Was he an engineer?
Yeah. Okay. Trevor. And yeah, so yeah, they were in there. He would have been 50, and but he embraced it, and he couldn't get enough of Spider-Man. And his peers, like I said, threw their hands up and just couldn't get it to work.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. That was a great conversation. I enjoyed it so much with Andrew and the time I had with him. But some of the killer nuggets I got out of the conversation was that AI won't replace finance professionals, but those who use AI effectively will replace those who don't. I think that's key. And then the second thing is a growth mindset means embracing curiosity, experimentation, and learning faster than the change around you. That's critical. And then the third point I got out of it was that younger generations are redefining finance by blending technical skills with creativity and business insight. So that was part 2. In part 3, Andrew and I get practical with driver-based models, discussing how to take finance to the next level and be relevant in a true business partner, and cover 3 essential skills that Andrew believes that every finance professional needs to develop. And he goes into, what are the 3 things that people on average need to improve as finance professionals. So join us in part 3 next time. And so if you've enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'd love to know what you're thinking about AI and the future of finance, and we'll pick those comments up. Thanks.